I feel like the ADP kind of falls out the window with some of these guys. I don't know.
Oh, it definitely does. And by the way, we are live because we were just talking about ADP. So,
oh, Danny,
Yeah.
Dan, I wanted to use the new fancy overlay, man. Come on, come on. We pay the big money. We got to show
Nice.
Matty Big Chest's work. You're going to see a lot of his work tonight, boys.
Looks real good, JD.
Shout out to Matty Big Chest.
Yes.
One of the best graphics guys going.
There's the new.
It's beautiful.
The new MiLLY Billies. We appreciate all his work. We already have Hillo in the house in the waiting room. We got the green room in the back. You know, I was going to come in with this. Guys, welcome to the district. You know how it's done. Tonight is a MiLLY BiLLiE special event. Normally we bring in the Savages one at a time. They're in their cage. They've got their masters with them. We let them in the studio. Everything is tame. But tonight, Andrew and I this morning got the fishing boat ready. We chopped some fish heads, got the raw fish meats ready, and we headed out into the ocean. And we've dropped the meats into the ocean. And the sharks are festering. The sharks are around, Andrew. Do you see them? Do you hear them?
I feel their presence. The blood in the water to be all after it. Hopefully they're after each other, though. It'll be great. Looking forward to it tonight.
It's going to be a good time, man. Tonight we've got Dan and Theo joining a bunch of sharps in the HARWAY Footballguys FFPC Championship draft live tonight. It's going to start in what time we at? We got 2 minutes, guys. So Dan, why don't you give the quick Coles notes on the draft tonight? Pass it to Theo. Give us an idea who's going to be dropping in. And then we'll get this baby started.
All right. Yeah. So for tonight, this is the Footballguys Players Championship. So a $500,000 on the line here in this particular one. And we have basically it's a managed league. So you're gonna run throughout the season. Top four will get into the playoffs. The top two will advance into the final championship run. Standard FFPC scoring, standard FFPC lineup. So we're talking one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, one tight end, two flex, which are not super flex. So just running back, wide receiver, or tight end, and then a kicker and a defense. And so it's gonna be a fun draft. Everybody here knows the deal. ADP will be right out the window right away. People are going to go get their guys. So it should be a lot of fun. Who do we got in here, Theo?
So we will have a lot of these guys. I'm going to forget some. So Dan, add them in. We will have Abib Agbatoba coming on. We should be having Mark Garcia Hilo coming on. We have Noah Riddell coming on. We have.
Oh, I see some big
Dave Hubbard.
Check out the green room, Theo, right now. The green room is just swarming with sharks right now, Theo. Just look below. You'll see some names.
Dan, maybe we could add a couple more.
Yeah, Todd Miller, Austin Martin will be there. Darren Armani, Fantasy Mojo. Dwayne McFarland will not be on our podcast, but will be in the room.
Don't we have the fifth and first and fifth guys coming on?
First and 15. That's
first and 15. Thank you.
Abib Agbatoba. And then just right now we're the 101 just went off the board. Jonathan Taylor taken by Scoundrel.
And JD, I'm sharing the draft board if you want to pop that up on the screen at any time.
Can you make it a little bigger, my friend? Please, thank you. For us old folk, I just got my new glasses, but I still can't see that well.
Nice.
All right, we got Cooper Kupp off the board in the 2 spot.
You know what I got to do? I got to find where Theo so nicely laid out everyone's Twitter handles in the draft order.
The draft order?
What's really frustrating is everyone's making like jokes for their team names.
Play for Blood is Dwayne McFarland. So Dwayne McFarland just took Cooper Kupp at the 102. And now we have
Hilo.
Mark Garcia took Christian McCaffrey. Darren Armani, Fantasy Mojo, took Justin Jefferson at the 4. We love that pick. Dan is at the 108. How many guys in your queue right now, Dan?
I don't know. I got about 9 guys, but
Mark Andrews off the board in the 5 spot.
I'm trying to get through the first 2 rounds on my queue, so we'll see. Yeah, Mark Andrews going early. Love it. So there's your first reach.
Todd from PA with the first tight end off the board. Dalvin Cook follows Mr. Davis Mills.
Davis Mills is a B-bag Agbatoba.
Okay.
Mark Andrews at the 105 is interesting. He's one that I was considering at the 110. So I'm not super thrilled about seeing that. But a couple guys are going to fall down to Dan and I that we were maybe not expecting. And Todd took I believe Todd took Travis Kelce quite early last year, or he might have been on another tight end. I know Todd took a tight end last year. So maybe we could ask him about that when he comes on.
That's right. Interesting.
Dalvin Cook was another guy I was considering. Abib took him there at the 106. So this is interesting.
Dan's coming up in 2.
Yep.
And then Theo
Austin
in 4.
is apparently struggling.
You see, he's like, yep. Austin Eckler off the board at number 7.
Ooh.
All right, so we have Dan on the board right here.
The overhyped sleeper. What's he going to do with no
All right. Well, this is a player I did not expect to be able to draft, so I'm just going to draft him.
It's a great pick.
Jamar Chase goes off at 8 for Dan. Andrew, any way you can magnify that a bit, like put the percentage view up somehow?
Oh, yeah. Keep getting it bigger. Keep working it.
Joe Mixon off the board next at back-to-back Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, so I'm on the clock right here at the 110, and I was not expecting to see Travis Kelce here. I think this is a sword I'm willing to fall on. If anybody was trying to fade the older tight end Travis Kelce, this is a tough one though.
His max is 201. Just throw that out there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like a gift, but I feel like 110 he's a pretty good value here.
Don't let me talk you out of it, Theo.
Yeah, I'm willing to take Travis Kelce. I'm going to go with I was planning on taking Andrews at the 110, and I'm going to take what I consider a tight end too. I'm taking Travis Kelce here.
Tomato, right?
That's it. Travis Kelce.
Nice. So 2 tight ends.
Noah Rudell on the clock.
CD's nuts. Mr. Dallas Cowboy fan. Najee Harris. We've got 6 running backs off the board in the first 11, 2 tight ends and 3 receivers. Who's got the turn there? Bluffy
Dave
Rivers.
Hubbard.
Oh,
that's Dave Hubbard.
All right.
Again, thanks to Theo's tweet. It's very helpful.
All right. I'm going to refer to you, Andrew. You're the draft order guy.
I got the stats and information. That's my job.
All right. Beautiful. You got the intern on that, right?
That's right.
Nice. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We got a bunch of people in the house. Make sure you're active in the chat. Wheeler, we always see you. We appreciate you big time. You are correct, my friend. Sativa rocking hard tonight. Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb. So on the turn with back-to-back receivers, going a little old school and a little younger with Adams and Lamb. What do you think, Dan, with the receivers now coming off? Diggs goes off next.
Yeah, not a surprise there. And a note from Hilo that he was considering Kelce or McCaffrey at 3. So he obviously feels like you got a heck of a steal there, Theo.
I mean, I love it. I'm happy with the build, and I'm still going to get a running back that I'm high on. I'm going to fade the big dog, and I'm going to go with a Andrew Schellenberg favorite, DeAndre Swift.
Nice.
So I'll get a little Swifty at the 203.
Very fun start, Theo. I like it.
Yeah, it lets me kind of go a bunch of different ways. I love what Dave Hubbard did right there at the turn, though. Devontae and Lamb. It's I'm gonna miss out on so many wide receivers now. I think he's kind of gonna force the board here.
Another running back, Barkley, and the 9 spot coming the other way. And there's Noah Riddell. Should we bring Noah in after 2 picks?
Yeah, definitely. Bring him on in.
Yeah.
Noah, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How are we doing, goats?
No, what's going on?
Always
doing
good.
great.
Always good when you join us, man. For sure. You excited for the draft tonight or what?
Yeah, I'm excited. Wasn't very happy about drawing the 11th pick, but Would have been happy with Kelsey there, but didn't quite fall that way. So I took Najee Harris, the quad god.
Nice.
Quad
I feel like your Diggs pick.
Yeah, Quad
came pretty
Harris.
Was your Diggs pick a reaction to CD being off the board?
Quadruple whopper.
I mean, I would have considered CD there, but I had Diggs ranked higher than CD anyway.
Yeah.
So it was fine. I mean, I'd have been fine taking CD if I had to, but I'm also fine taking Diggs there. I actually had Diggs higher than Najee, but with the 3 receivers that were in that group, Adams, CD, and Stephon Diggs, I would have been happy with any of the 3. So I just went ahead and took the running back first, and then let the receivers come back around.
Nice. Yeah, good game theory there. I was going to say Diggs. You ended up drafting him pretty quickly.
I do like the DeAndre Swift.
Kelsey with Theo.
Yeah, that was. I was happy to get him there. What do you guys think of the big dog going where he did in this draft? Seems like a lot of people are fading Derrick Henry in this room.
Yeah, 206 goes off the board. He was the RB3 or 4.
I think that's a good spot for him. I mean,
Abib with Aaron Jones.
yeah, I think that late, that's a good pick.
Pairs him up with Dalvin Cook. Todd from Pia on the board took Mark Andrews in the 5 spot. Noah, let's say you're in this draft, you know a lot of these guys, you know their level, you go into a random football guys. Does your strategy change at all?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, knowing that Hubbard is next to me, I'll probably draft a little bit differently. You know, I figured he would go receiver here based on the guys that are there. And that's why I went ahead and took Harris first. But for the most part, it doesn't. These drafts usually, HARWAY drafts usually end up being a little bit different ADP-wise because a lot of the people in this draft try to avoid landmines. Players that they think have a high bust potential. And so those types of players will filter later and later in the draft. So someone who comes into a draft like this and just drafts based on ADP will end up with a whole bunch of bust players just because people are passing over guys that are likely. So, I think that the first 2 years we did this league, we had Crack Rock, and I think his MO is generally to take players that fall past their ADP. And, that did not go very well for him the first 2 years in this league just because we're generally taking guys ahead of ADP if they have high floors in this format.
That's a good name to bring up, Noah. If I
think it's interesting
correctly,
how the strategy works out.
Wasn't there a side bet with Crack Rock that kind of led to the whole league's creation anyways? Are we allowed to talk about that, or is that too rated R for this? What's our rating, Biddy?
No, I mean it's fine. It was I had a costume and I said, okay, whoever loses this league, the HARWAY league has to wear a costume. And I had the costume. It was a alligator costume with a green dildo hanging out of the front of it. And he went ahead and said, "Oh, because of COVID, I can't wear it." So
casual Saturday night attire.
It ended up falling through. So
it
was from a different fantasy league that I'm in locally where you have to dress up as a mascot for your team, and that happened to fit with my overall team vibe. That's the League of Extraordinary Genitals. So I had the costume, and we tried to make that a dual purpose costume, and it just didn't work out.
No, it makes sense. I like it.
Noah, do we have you in and out tonight, or are you just with us for a brief moment? Like, are you?
I'll be in and out. I mean, if you guys want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop out.
Yeah,
JD,
if you guys just want to call me back anytime, I'm
awesome.
good to come back.
Awesome, we'll do that. Thanks, Noah. We'll bring in a couple more. We'll bring in Scoundrel for sure. He's started in the 1 spot, and start off with JT, Chubb, Higgins, Scoundrel. Welcome back to the district, brother. Cheers to you, man.
What is up, gentlemen? Good to see your faces.
I see, man.
Love the start, man. You got two of my faves with JT and T Higgins with a little Chubb sandwiched in the middle. How do you feel about that start?
I love it. I was hoping to get Evans, but Hilo sniped me there a little bit. So I was gonna go Evans Higgins, but he took Evans from me. So decided to go.
A Hilo kid, he does that.
Yeah. Generally, if I start with if I get the one spot and get Taylor, I'm generally looking to pick up a couple good receivers at the turn. But I'm a big fan of Nick Chubb this year, so we'll see.
Scrounger, before we talk about the football, you got a great mic. You just picked up all that ice rattling around in there. Credit to that mic. That was great.
Production. It's production, Andrew. Come on. It's our high quality production. Hilo, always a blast to have you on, man. I figure I'll throw you on with the Scoundrel. You guys starting off with it. I love Mark starts, man.
What's up, boys? Thanks for having us, dude. This is awesome.
Mark, are you in Vegas? Or you at home?
I'm at home. I'm home until the 14th is when I'm hitting Vegas for about a month.
World Series,
baby. Let's do it.
Take one down, baby.
Thanks, man.
Nice. Keep us updated on that. So how do you feel about your start? You're in the 3 spot, CMC, Mike Evans, and then AJ Brown in the 3rd.
Yeah, so Abib is not my favorite person right now because he's just like soaking up all these like top 5 running backs that I have that I was targeting for I was going to go robust here. And Aaron Jones really hurt. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just one of these drafts where you can't really have a plan. Like everything is kind of out the window in this draft for sure. So max flexibility. I mean, look at round 3. It's been painted yellow, 7 wide receivers in a row, and there's the first running back of the round. So this is definitely going to be a draft unlike a lot of the ones that you're going to see out of the Football Guys contest this year. So just making that pivot and getting 2 high floor, high ceiling wide receivers with Evans and AJ Brown there at the turn to pair with CMC. It's a good mix of safety and upside in the first 3 rounds.
Hilo, were you on when Scoundrel said that you sniped Mike Evans from him? So as you said, I don't think everyone's going to get their feelings just ever so slightly hurt. So
Mark and I have conversations about every day, so I probably should have kept my intentions quieter.
You act like I listened to you, so no, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, we're Scoundrel and I are both out here in Arizona now, so yeah, we were acquaintances through the fantasy game for like 4 years, and then I moved back to Arizona, and it just like so happened that like oh shit, we're both in Arizona, dude. Like, so we got the kids together. It's been awesome.
Then we got the kids together and found out that our daughters have the same name.
Yeah. And I'm also a realtor in Arizona, and Todd Scoundrel bought a home through me. That's
nice.
Funny, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. See, we got the GOAT District meets selling Arizona. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know all about that HGTV stuff up there. In the North,
for
man.
sure, bro. Selling Sunset. Any night you don't want to think, you throw on Selling Sunset with the wife. She likes it. You're happy. Oh, yeah. She's happy. You can draft on your phone. You're good to go, right? Good to go, baby. So real quick before we keep the draft going, guys, if you're not watching right now, you're listening, you can check us out on YouTube and now also on Spotify. The visual, the video, Dan's beautiful flow, Andrew's La Quinta background, and Theo's. Well, he's always in a different room, so I guess it doesn't really matter, right? He mixes it up anyways. But guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in on the visuals. We make this show visual. Tonight we've got a sweet draft board building right now. We're at the end of round 3. I asked Noah, when you guys draft, does your strategy change depending on who you're drafting? Like when you guys go in a room like this and you know all these guys, the level that they're drafting at, does that change your strategy versus a random draft? And I'll go to you first, Scoundrel.
I apologize. I was looking at ADP here. Could you repeat the question?
Does your strategy change when you go into a room like this with, guys that what level they're drafting versus just a random room that you might walk into?
Well, you know that not much is going to fall to you. There's never much in the way of value here, and guys that you're used to waiting on and taking later. And I've got a lot of favorite guys that I got a lot of my guys that normally I can wait till 8th, 9th round that are probably going to go in round 5 or 6 tonight because these guys are sharp. There's not much value that falls in these drafts, so you got to go after your guys. And like you said when we started, ADP goes out the window in a draft like this.
Did you do any pre-draft or other drafts to get ready for this, just to see kind of how the board was flowing, or is this one of the first ones you've done this year?
This is my 6th or 7th FPG this year already.
Nice.
I'm good
How about you,
friends
Mark?
with Kurt
Okay.
Kurt Kikas. I think everybody knows he and I have
Yep.
done a couple together already, and I've done about 4 on my own already. So yeah, I've got a kind of a good feel of the way everything's laid out. But like I said, that doesn't really matter much when you get in the room with these guys.
Real quick, guys, I'm going to round out the third round just to let the people know where we're at. T. Higgins went off first. Debo Samuel, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Michael Pittman with a wide receiver run there. Dan comes back with James Conner, Cam Akers off the board, Jalen Waddle, Antonio Gibson, and then back on the turn, Darren Waller and Travis Etienne in the 4th round. Hilo, I wasn't going to ask you.
Well,
Wow.
as you think about that, JD, not that we don't want to get to you, Mark, but Scoundrel, can you you've got a little bit of time here too. Can you describe what a scoundreling is and how that came about in the year 2021?
I believe Todd from PA came up with that term. We every time we've done this draft live like this, I'm normally about 5 or 6 of these into the.
Oh yeah, we hear the ice.
I tend to make some pretty funny noises when I get sniped. I just happen to have started drinking late today, so I'm sober right now.
Nice.
But yeah, getting scoundrel. There's 2 parts of it: getting sniped and your guy getting 3 of your first 5 picks, getting hurt in the first 3 weeks of the season, which has happened a couple times to me.
I think we've all been scoundrel then, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask Hilo, and maybe you can answer scoundrel before we bring in some new guests here. Do you guys have a time that you prefer? I know, Mark, you have the World Series to consider and other schedules, but do you have a preference with when you're drafting these football guy drafts?
I think when you're looking at a big contest like this, it's good to have exposure in kind of the 3 separate draft windows. So like you have like some of these contests even open up before like the NFL draft. I like to wait until the NFL draft has happened. Take a draft window, between the NFL draft and OTAs, and then you have like OTAs to preseason, and then finally, as preseason is ending up in the late August window. Those are the 3 kind of draft windows I like to have, and it's good to have different exposure across all 3 of those draft windows because values are changing, ADPs are changing. You could hit on a guy who is a wide receiver 2 on a team, and the wide receiver 1 goes down in the preseason on the early drafts, but then there's obviously other landmines. So it's just good to get a nice little mix. I would recommend just breaking up, your total allotment of your portfolio of rosters into, equally in those 3 draft windows.
Guys, if you haven't done it yet, Wheeler's said it. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe. We're bringing you the goodness tonight. We bring it on the regular. Mark, Scoundrel, are you guys available as we go through this thing to come back on for a few more questions?
I'll be here all week, sir.
Yeah, man, I'll be hanging out.
Nice.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
me.
Andrew, let's bring our friend. He just made his 4th pick. Dan, why don't you start this off? Like you started with Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, James Conner, David Montgomery. Love the start. How do you feel about the draft so far with your picks, and any surprises or anything you're liking more than anything else so far?
Well, the only pick that's gone according to plan is Andrew's favorite, James Conner. That was my target in the 3rd round. I was very pleased to have Jamar Chase fall to me. I would have gone Mixon there had Chase not been there. And then Pitts, I was hoping I would get Barkley or Swift or Lamb, one of those 3, but Pitts is definitely not a bad way to go. Fournette was also under consideration there, but I figured I'd go ahead and take a shot on Pitts. And then Montgomery, I was really hoping for Akers or ETN there, but that's the way it goes.
I like it. No, we were talking pre-show, so it was probably a good thing that you got him at the 308, Dan, because I don't know if Theo would have, I don't think he would have come back to you anyways, but I think Theo may have been thinking about him at the 310. But I mean, can you explain the reason? Because I know we were talking about it. I think that I'd rather have, and I said I'd rather have ETN just for upside exposure and the great unknown. But I do find myself, I have a hard time taking Connor over Etienne or some of those other wide receivers, like probably Waddle, Deontay, or DK Metcalf. Was there ever a consideration, like if you had known you could have also gotten David Montgomery there too in the 4th round, would you have been a little bit more open to not taking James Conner, or is James Conner still a target there at that 308 for you?
He was still a target for me there because I was really hoping Deontay might fall to me as well.
Okay.
Even Waddle, I would have definitely taken there. So
okay, so really, Monty was the consolation prize, and
he was the consolation prize. I mean, I was even considering tapping Zeke Elliott before that.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is that Ron Meyer, 2-packer in the number 9 hole, really has something very close to the start that I envisioned I might be coming out with in the 8 hole. So if he does really well, and obviously most of those guys were available to me where I made my picks. So if Ron does really well and I do really poorly, then I'll be kicking myself.
So you're talking about
myself up for the Schadenfreude.
You're talking about the 4 RB start, Dan, with Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley, Cam Akers, and Zeke in the 9 hole.
I am, yes, and I really thought that I might possibly do something similar to that and then pivot hard to wide receiver. But again, with Chase available and some of my targets not there in the 2nd round, I just decided that Chase and Pitts was a fun pairing, so I went with it.
Agreed.
Theo's got some heavy breathing. I see some heavy thinking going on. Started off with Kelsey in the 10 spot, Swift, Waddle, and Deontay. How you feeling so far?
I feel good. I was kind of holding my breath that Deontay, I was holding my breath that Deontay would go there. I kind of don't want to go McLaurin and Waddle. I don't think that would have been as good a start for me just because I feel like Deontay's going to have a weekly floor. I feel like Waddle is an aggressive pick. Some people are worried about the Waddle Tyreek Hill combo, but I'm kind of leaning into Waddle. I think he could end up smashing. I think he's the real deal, and I was happy to get him there. So I kind of like my start right here. I could have used an RB2, but I think I'll make up for it.
Yeah, I like it. Not with Swift on the board. I think he'll carry the 2 RB slots pretty well for you there, Theo.
Yeah, I think he could. I think he definitely could have a smash season. So we'll see.
If you had if Deontay had gone, would you have considered DK Metcalf there?
Yes, if Deontay would have gone, I would have considered DK Metcalf. I would have considered actually taking Kittle there and having 2 tight ends, and I also would have considered Breece Hall and just been aggressive with him. Those would have been kind of the guys if Deontay was gone, and and also McLaurin would have been in that mix. So, and also I will add that if Dave Hubbard did not take Travis Etienne, he would have been in consideration there. So, the Andrew Schellenberg-esque DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne could have happened.
I know it. I know it well.
So Theo, you put out a tweet earlier. Schultz again off the board. I'm a big fan of Schultz coming in more on his value earlier in the offseason. Comes off at the first pick of the 5th round here, and then Kittle going off in the 4th round. Is that pretty much standard now? Schultz going ahead of Goddard, and is that something you're seeing as value right now?
Yeah, I feel like Schultz has jumped Hawkinson, but I think they go very close. I would guess that Hawkinson goes pretty soon here, but I don't know. I just feel like I like Schultz a lot, and like Andrew and Dan and I split teams last year, and we each had Dalton Schultz on our teams. But I just feel like he's getting drafted at his very peak. Even if we think he's going to get a volume bump, I think that for him to go tight end 6, I'm just not sure how much ROI. It's fine. It's a very good structural pick. I just don't think it's necessarily it's not like an upside type pick. So, we'll see. I could be wrong on that one.
And sorry, real quick with your receivers, you went Deontay. Does DK Metcalf, sorry if you mentioned it already, but does he become part of that decision? And where's the tier break for you with these receivers? Is it after the Deontay? Is it after Metcalf, or is it a bit further down? Where are you seeing that tier breaks with these receivers in the 4th round?
I think it's a bit further down. I think Deontay is kind of like, for me, it's like he's just a little bit different, just because I think that it would be hard for me to see him not getting a ton of targets. I think like with McLaurin, there's question marks DK, there's question marks. I think people are hopeful for Allen Robinson. Josh Allen goes there to
first quarterback off the board at
Beeb.
5'7".
Well,
Yeah.
what I find interesting to the carefully trained Andrew eyes is Dio, one of Beeb's good friends and podcast mates, gave him the thumbs up in our chat. Do you think that was Dio giving Beeb the signal it's okay to go quarterback? Like, because the pick came right after that. I don't know. Is that just like it's okay, man? We can finally go quarterback here. I'm giving you the high sign.
I'm not sure. I think that Abib's a great drafter, and I think that Allen is such a good value right there in the 5th round. Like, that's the difference between this draft and if you jumped in a regular football guys, Allen would be going higher than that.
You're looking for every edge, right, against these opponents, and if you taking the best quarterback in the 5th round is giving you that edge.
Dio's also on team Dallas Goedert being a value right now, so there goes
there you go.
There goes Brandon Cooks. That hurts. Dan's pick hurts a lot.
And famous Jay liking the value on that he got on Josh Allen there in the 5th.
Yeah, I felt like Cooks was really starting to get towards the end of a tier there on wide receiver. So
5'6".
Cooks was going to be my pick right there. So I'm not thrilled with that one.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to.
No, go ahead, Theo. You're on clock.
I think I'm going to take a wide receiver I believe in that I'm hoping will take a big step forward. I think I'm going to take Rashad Bateman right here.
I like that. Very nice.
And to get him at wide receiver 27, I think that he's going to definitely finish ahead of wide receiver 27. But I'm hoping he can get up to like wide receiver 15 to really give me a smash value here. So here we go, Rashad Bateman time.
Nice.
Like it. I had him next up in my queue.
Well, maybe we can email the FFPC and see if we could trade there, Dan. I'll trade you Bateman
No,
for
I mean next up after Cooks.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like to use these drafts as validation, positive confirmation. So Theo, in that football guys I was showing you, I also got Bateman at wide receiver 27. So love to see that you're also getting him here, and that totally validates whatever the hell I'm doing in that other draft. So
it won't be the last time that I take Rashad Bateman. That's for sure.
Oh, nice.
Remind me who Austin is in the draft. Is it Davis Mills?
He's 7.
He's the no gamble.
All right,
yeah.
all right. That's right. I remember.
Davis Mills.
Now I'm hitting my stride with remembering these people. This is good. In the groove.
The intern is paying off.
Draft board intern. Got t-shirt intern, draft board intern.
So is it possible to have a favorite so far, like 5 rounds deep with like we said, no value falling? Like, is it pretty much any team has a chance still? Are you seeing a weakness anywhere, or a team that maybe you like least or more than others? Guys, you can, Andrew, I don't know. Do you see anything?
I'm most interested. I mean, it's a pretty 2-packer looking draft for Team 9 with the 4 running back start. Interested to see where it's going to go from there, because I think the next 5 through 10 are probably going to make or break that. Because I think it can pay off, especially early this offseason. I don't totally hate the four running backs there. I mean, it's not something I would do, but very interested to see how he's going to fill out the team here in the next 5-6 rounds, which I think will make all the difference in this draft.
Scoundrel, I brought you in. Dalton Schultz, topic of discussion here. How do you feel about your first tight end off the board in the 5th?
Well, it was a toss-up between Schultz for me and either Mike Williams or Darnell Mooney, but looking at the way things are laid out from the one spot, seemed like the best time to grab him. And with Gallup still coming back from injury and Cooper gone, I think he's probably going to be the wide receiver 2 in that team for a while. Unless Elliott and
you are up next.
Pollard end up taking a big chunk of targets, but yeah, he's got potential, and I got some other guys I'm looking at later in the draft. I think he's going to start the year really hot and allow me to grab some guys that might develop after a few games.
Dan calls it narrow target tree. That's the first thing that pops in my head when I see Dalton Schultz, and that's what I loved about him early in the season. The problem now is, like Theo mentioned, he's starting to get up there at his ceiling, potentially.
I think he'll pay off. I've definitely got him in my rankings. I've got him ahead of Kittle and Hawkinson and Goddard. Especially the Eagles leaning more towards the run game later in the year, and now that AJ Brown is there, I don't see Goddard getting the targets that he was getting last year when everybody was hurt. So he was the next guy off the board for me, next tight end off the board for me.
All right, we're starting the 6 guys. A run of receivers that Dan started with the Brandon Cooks pick. You got
Theo, I'm giving you the Dio thumbs up, whatever you want to take it to mean.
I will say I don't like the fact that Elijah Moore and Amon-Ra St. Brown just killed
why I
my
gave you the
queue.
thumbs up.
Same. I was hoping for one of them on the way back.
Destroyed my queue. I think I'm going to pivot here, and it's not necessarily a player that I thought I would be taking tonight, but I don't mind taking Elijah Mitchell here. I think that this is a place I'm comfortable taking him as my RB2. I realize that there's red flags. He had an injury last year, but I believe he's the best running back in San Francisco, and I think that he kind of gives me an opportunity to not have to play RB2 by committee if he can hit. Go ahead, hate on the pick, Andrew.
Well, that's not what I meant the thumbs up to be.
I know which way you would have said it, and I don't want to say.
Yeah, no table talk. No table talk.
Yeah, no table talk at all. No table talk at all. But
I would not have done Elijah Mitchell, but that's okay. Hey, 1912 fantasy. This is a quick divergence from fantasy football. T-shirt intern says, by the way, guys, check out the new BiLLiE logo. JD, who created that for you?
It's coming up right now. This is Maddie Big Chest out there in Twitter land. Go check him out if you need any graphic work. The man is just awesome to work with.
Okay, this is beautiful. Now, T-shirt intern idea says you merge the BiLLiE logo into the logo of La Quinta Inn, and you start selling really niche merchandise of La Quinta BiLLiE combo mashup. Thoughts, go. You're gonna throw your wall, right? Is that a winner?
You ever been on that? What's that? America's Got Talent, where they just throw one of these guys. Yeah. So AJ Dillon off the board after Mitchell. I'm joking with you, Andrew. I love all your ideas and how you
T-shirt intern says that's a winner. You're gonna have at least one purchase.
You keep that intern busy, so that's all that matters, right? Yeah. So AJ Dillon, DeAndre Hopkins comes back in the middle of the 6th here. So a lot of receivers off the board. It's piss yellow. You got chunks of green in there, and we've got 2, 4, 6, 7 tight ends off the board with Josh Allen as the only quarterback. We're gonna bring in some new blood guys. Dan, any comments before we let you go here? You took AJ Dillon as your RB3 in the 6th.
Yeah, it's this draft is going exactly according to form. Basically, all the values being sucked out from the top. The players that you would expect to fall in this draft are falling in this draft. I don't want to mention names, but everybody in the draft can see who hasn't been selected yet that normally might have been by now. So
somebody flashed their queue up here so I can remember. This is why I wouldn't do well with those. What's the draft where we have to memorize all the picks, Dan?
Oh, Bare
Knuckles.
Bare Knuckles.
No,
that is not my strength either.
I'd like to hear Hilo's explanation for taking Cooper, knowing that Watson's not going to play this year.
Nice.
There he is. Mark is right there. Mark is live. And see, Mark, I'm giving you the opportunity, man. You can't let trash talk your pick like that.
Sorry, I was muted. On the clock. Hold up.
Oh, I put him on right when he's on the clock. Good host. Look at that, Theo. Hey, Goddard almost a round later.
Yeah, I was going to go Goddard right there.
Yeah.
While Hilo's reeling, let me just say that I had the NHL bet of the night, which does nobody any good, over 7 goals tonight. And I'm pretty sure they're up to 9 now, not even halfway through the second period. So that was an obvious winner, and I wish you guys had all played that play.
You are up next.
All right. Sweet. Yeah, Darren really got me there. I was gonna go Goddard, get my tight end off the board.
Mark with the first
Rookie
first
wide
rookie
receiver.
off the board.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
you-
go.
Now you got Andrew excited. There you go.
Nice. All right, talk me into him.
Drake
Mark.
London, end
You're
of the
on the
sixth.
clock.
Is this a all right? I'm going to take the consolation prize, or do you actually like Drake London here?
No, I like Drake London. Sixth is probably early, right? Seventh round, Drake London is or later.
You talk and I'll look it up. Oh no, yes, 7.4 is ADP. Is min is 6.1, so
Yeah.
you hit a min.
Yeah, so I'd like him late 7, somewhere around there. That's probably where I get most of my exposure as of for this draft window. But the opportunity with the makeup of that team is there. We have teams that have proven success of doubling Kyle Pitts. We don't know if that's going to continue. If that does, he's going to have all the opportunity in the world there in Atlanta. So it's just an upside pick in a
15 seconds left.
very
You're
bloody
on the
draft.
clock.
I like it. You can hear Scoundrel picking live
Yeah,
there.
Scoundrel's on the turn here. He's got back-to-backs. We'll get back to him.
Yeah, Mark, did you consider the other? I think Wheeler's in the chat. I think he mentioned a couple guys that he thought were available. And I think it looked like they ended up going back-to-back, Drake London, Treylon Burks. You took Drake London, gave you reasons why.
Yeah.
Did you consider Treylon, or you just have Drake in a cut above?
I'm of the impression that Treylon, of the two, Treylon Burks is probably the more likely to see his ADP slip. So I would rather take the exposure now to the player where I feel like probably his ADP is going to climb, if anything. And that's purely off of, as reports start coming out on Robert Woods, like, is he healthy? As soon as those reports start trickling in, I could see Burks slipping a little bit. And that's probably where I'll look to grab my exposure there.
Nice. So this is a volume ADP trends play as the draft season wears on.
Yeah, so it's an interesting dynamic to this league. Like, right, is the $500,000 winner likely to come from this league? Hell no. But like, I'm still gonna draft it as if I'm going for the top prize, as opposed to like league prizes. And I'll just add it to the portfolio and go from there.
Okay.
So
right, you're back on the clock, so we'll go to Scoundrel now.
Yeah, I'll go to Scoundrel, ask him about his picks, and maybe you can touch on Scoundrel. Are you planning, like, are you just looking at this team with this league, or are you playing big picture? Are you looking at week 17, drafting now for those playoff weeks, or are you just looking 1 week at a time?
The way this draft falls, and as hard as this draft is, the chances of the overall winner coming out of this draft are pretty much close to nil.
You guys are a bunch of fucking negative Nellies, man. Come on, with that attitude, you guys are never getting to the playoffs, man. Come on.
There's never a drop of anything to be found. Can't get blood from a stone, man. I was this whole time I was sitting there waiting for Adam Thielen because he normally his ADP's in the 7th, and I look back and Packers already taken him at 6-4. I wasn't paying attention.
He did you a favor.
That whole Vikings offense should be something this year, so we'll see.
Yep. Narrow target tree as long
speaking
as
of, I was gonna say, speaking of narrow target trees.
Yeah, he'll score well.
So other than that, it was either Walker or another guy that I won't say the name because he hasn't been picked yet. And I don't normally take a QB this early, but I just hated all my other options. So,
no, I think that was good Mahomes value. I like that there.
Yeah,
especially being on the. Does that change for you being on the end there, just having Mahomes locked up and ready to go? Does that change depending on whether you're in the middle of the draft or in the drafts?
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm would have been pick 5, pick 6, pick 7, I made it. It's a long time till I pick again. So I looked at it's a pretty good value. His ADP, according to Darren, is 6.2 right now. So
yep.
So 7-1 for Mahomes.
Yeah.
Some people are kind of scared of him losing Tyreek, but he's got they replaced him with plenty of people.
Yeah, his max was 7.2, so you're pretty much on it.
Yeah, so it's good value, and I just didn't like anybody else, so I just went might as well nail that down that position and free up some later picks, I guess.
Yeah,
Wheeler's commenting on where the quarterbacks are going. If I'm looking at the Fantasy Mojo, guys, go check it out, Fantasy Mojo, if you're using an FFPC for any kind of drafts. But they've got the ADPs right now, last 7 days for the championship. Josh Allen going in the 4th, Herbert in the 6th, 7th is Lamar, Mahomes also around the 6 and 7. So it's pretty much on par. I think it's pretty much on par. Oh,
Everybody's about a round later.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's just Mahomes is about a round drop, and maybe Allen too. But
Allen was too. Allen was about a round drop. Jackson's actually right about where he should be.
That's right.
yeah.
Exactly right.
All right, boys, we're gonna bring in a couple more guests. We'll be back to you guys. Scoundrel, Mark, get yourself a fresh drink. I know I will. You as well,
It's
Scoundrel.
nice.
I see a couple. Well, first we got to bring back the man Noah for sure. He's oh no, he didn't pick yet. We'll let you make your picks. We'll let you make your picks. I don't want to interrupt with the roster build, but we got to bring in the man, the legend, the Todd. Todd from PA. Welcome, my friend.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Todd, what's going on?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. How you enjoying this draft so far?
I feel like my structure I like, but I feel like adding Thomas to Mooney was a mistake with both Week 14 buys. I could have gone Goddard there, but I'm high on Singletary. I think he showed that he is the number one guy there. I don't think James Cook is built to be the number one. I think he's a change of pace back. So waiting for the second running back and getting a guy that I liked, I feel good about that. What do you guys think of what I did so far? I missed the show up until this point? Anyone go, oh, shit, what's he doing?
We've been laughing at you the whole time, Todd.
Yeah. We've been talking about how you won't go dark mode for your underdog draft. It's fucking blinding me, Todd. What's up with that? That's what we've been talking about the whole time.
Well, okay.
Todd, I gotta say,
that sounded like a distinct non-apology there.
Yeah.
No, I think light is preferable to darkness, boys.
My eyes are way too sensitive. Todd, I joked about being hypercritical on your roster just as a slight tease. I really like your build, starting with Andrews, Fournette, and Singletary. I'm also higher on Singletary than I think a lot of people are, just loving what he showed last
I
year.
wanted Barkley to make it, but he didn't.
And that's you're talking about instead of DJ Moore. Oh, instead of Fournette.
The Fournette pick.
Interchangeable, in my opinion.
It's less important to correlate, but I like that Week 17 DJ Moore, Leonard Fournette correlation. I think A-Rob. I mean, if Cooper Kupp somehow gets hurt for a few games, A-Rob could just be a dynamite this year. And I'm really high on Mooney, so I reached a little bit for him.
Before I go back to Noah, he just went with 2 picks. What was I going to ask you, man? I'm going to be brain farting all night trying to manage the guest. Noah, I'll come back to Todd with my question. I had a very important question. Trust me, it was important.
It was going to be good. We know.
Do I miss?
This would be a great question. I'm sure.
Was that the question?
Noah, Cordell Patterson, curious just to comment on how you feel about him with this season, and also Robert Woods, 2 controversial picks back to back.
Well, I would rather have Robert Woods than Treylon Burks personally for this season.
Don't disagree.
So I don't mind taking Robert Woods there. I mean, I feel like he's going later than he probably should. So I don't mind taking Robert Woods in the 8th round. And then on Cordell Patterson, I'm looking for a third running back that has some PPR upside. And I think there's going to be plenty of targets available in Atlanta. And I think that he's in a good spot to produce well, kind of with some middle wide receiver numbers, but you can play it at the running back position. So I think that's a decent value to get at the end of the 7th. I was going to take Miles Sanders there, but he went a couple picks ahead of me. So
yeah,
I
nice pick
didn't quite get that. Yeah, this is a good pick. So it just kind of fell that way. But I would have been interested in Pollard as well, but I'd rather have Cordell Patterson. So Hubbard went ahead and got his boy, Tony Pollard.
My question, Todd, and I'm going to come back and ask you the same question, Noah. I know, Todd, you're big. This is what I was getting at earlier. Your bye weeks. You're a bye week guy, and you're a schedule guy. You look at the whether it's the league you're in or the NFL schedule. I know you're a big schedule guy with bye weeks. Why don't you talk about how that plays a factor into your builds?
Well, it really doesn't in this because, I think the first thing you do when you're making decisions is you think about what are the rules and who am I competing against? I mean, we've all talked about in chat a number of times how no one is winning top prize coming out of this league, most likely, right? I mean, that's why the league's called the hard way. So basically, my goal is to try and get to the playoffs. I would prefer not to have so many week 13, week 14 guys as I do in my top picks, but I felt like Michael Thomas fell too far, and I feel like you need to take some risks in this draft. Now, if we're talking about underdog, I just did a podcast where, basically if you have a great pass-through rate, like I did last year, you still have a less than 1% chance of getting to the finals, right? And if you don't have a good pass-through rate, your percentage is like 0.3%. So in something like that, where it's a week-to-week contest, I am heavily correlating week 16 and week 17 so that the teams that do make it if I do get a few teams to the semifinals, they have what it takes to get to week 17 and then win. In this league, I'm far less concerned about that, and I'm much more concerned with having a good team where I have good starters every week and advancing. Did I lose you?
Nope.
No, you're
Totally
good,
makes
man.
sense.
No, anything to add with regards to bye weeks or planning any kind of schedule action, especially in a competitive league like this, or even like a bigger type of tournament?
For a managed league, I don't really worry that much about buys. I look at it a lot if I'm doing a best ball type of league where I don't have the opportunity to make any changes. But for a managed league like this, I'm going to try and get the best players, especially with this being FFPC and how flex heavy the league is. You don't have a lot of those rigid sticking points that keep you from, moving guys from your bench into starting roles because you do have those 2 flex spots. So it doesn't really bother me that much. I just try to have a nicely balanced roster as far as power at different positions so that I can move guys in and out as needed during bye weeks. But, I'll start looking at it maybe after the 8th round of a draft. But until then, I'm not going to be putting too much stock into it.
Question from Paul here, Noah. You can see up on the screen. Noah Gibson, 3rd round, 302. Any particular reason Gibson around those, some of the other running backs around him? Is this a play on his upside is going to improve over the summer?
I think that was 311.
Oh, 311. Good math.
Thank you. 311. But I liked him better than the other guys that were available there. I really didn't feel like reaching on either of the tight ends there. I was looking at Darren Waller, was looking at George Kittle. George Kittle he's a great player, but as far as his role, there's a lot of feast or famine, and it's just not a guy that I'd like to take that high. And then Darren Waller, I think there's going to be a lot of competition for targets with Devontae Adams on that team now. So it just didn't make a lot of sense for me to go with either of those tight ends in that spot. And then after that, the next guy that I wanted really was Antonio Gibson. I considered Travis Etienne. I looked at David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, but it's just those guys are all kind of a tier behind Antonio Gibson for me. So that's why I went ahead and made the pick.
So you didn't like the other positions, and then in terms of running back, had him as the highest available.
Yep.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, and I didn't really want to take DK Metcalf or some of those other receivers there either. So I think that's just a kind of a dead zone at the end of the 3rd with the way that value has been shaking out lately. I was hoping that, maybe T. Higgins would be around in that spot, but he went way earlier than normal, which I guess is to be expected in this draft.
Yeah. And was Darren Waller more of like one of those falling knives? Because I think he ended up with this pick at 312, hit a new max pick. Was he just a falling knife that nobody wanted to catch there? Is that one of those guys that could go bust that very clearly rather get your guys than somebody who has the potential to tank your team. And maybe that's
I've been
here because I think
yeah,
everyone obviously passed on him.
I've been a big fan of Darren Waller in the past. It's just this year he's not going to be that vacuum for targets.
Yeah.
With the way that Derek Carr plays, he kind of has a safety blanket that gets a whole lot of the target share. And I don't think that that's going to be Darren Waller as much as it was in the past. And then, they also have Hunter Renfro, who's going to continue to demand a lot of targets. So it just didn't. I feel like he is probably third on the list of targets for that team, and so it's a little bit rich to take him as high as he's been going. I know that a lot of leagues he goes late second, early third, but I haven't been taking him there.
Okay, awesome. I know you're about to pick, so we can shift Todd into Dan. I don't know if you guys have a perspective on Waller, or maybe we can chat about you guys' most recent picks.
I want to cheer Dan's before I pass it to him. You get the blood moon cheers of the night on your Joe Burrow Chase stack hashtag.
Nice.
Always be stacking.
Yeah, I mean,
that won all the money last year. It could do it again.
I am worried about the Bengals passing game more than I'd like to let on, but given that Chase kind of fell to me and then Burrow
in what sense? In what sense?
I just think it was so freaking efficient last year. That there's going to be kind of a, they got to walk it back a little bit on the efficiency. So I just got to hope that the volume goes up to mask that, because they were a very slow paced offense. So if they can increase the pace enough to offset any loss in efficiency, I should be just fine. But again, this draft is going a little bit different than what I had kind of mapped out in my head. But overall, I think I'm kind of rolling with it. I will say I'm not a real big fan about having 3 guys on bye in week 14, 1 guy on bye in week 13 out of my top 6 picks. So 4 of my top 6 picks will not be available to me one week or the other during the playoffs. But on the other hand, I've just given myself a better chance of getting to the playoffs. So I'll take it.
That's my only complaint with my draft as well, Dan. It's not ideal, but you know what? In a league like this, if I get to week, we talk about bye weeks, and I agree with what Noah said. You don't worry about it much in managed leagues. I don't worry about it almost at all. I'll figure out. I'd rather, especially I'd rather lose 1 week than be weak all along. Mm-hmm. But the week 13 and 14 definitely, it's going to sting if you do get there. It's one of those things you try not to think about until you get there, and then you get there and you're like, oh man.
Right. Exactly. So hopefully I'll get there and I'll get to figure out a way around my disappointment. But the other thing is there will be a lot of guys who appear during the season. There will probably be a team or 2 or 3 who's sort of fallen out of it that may be a little bit less aggressive on the waiver wire, though typically this league is extremely aggressive on the waiver wire. So even trying to count on being able to supplement your team, you're not going to be able to do it in this league like in a normal football guys. Normally in football guys, I don't worry about it at all. I find them a little bit easier than the main events. But yeah, this one is going to be tough for sure.
Noah, talk to us about Dameon Pierce and who I call the Singletary of the tight ends, Dawson Knox.
Yeah, Dawson Knox is kind of an unsexy pick, but he's the last tight end that I've got in the tier that he's in. So I think it makes sense to take him right there. Really, what I wanted to do here was take Alan Lazard. I thought that I could wait and get him here, but he's kind of a free square for me. And I was disappointed that Abib got him as early as he did. I think his ADP is a little bit later, and I thought that I could finesse him into the 9th round, but I feel like he's kind of a free square, and I am regretting taking Robert Woods over him now, but is what it is. I guess this is one of those rooms where you can't try and squeeze guys through.
Yeah, Lazard's starting to creep up, right?
Yeah, his min is 810, and his ADP is 912 there.
911 there.
Yeah, and I would like to mention exactly that Jamison Williams going in the 9th round. That one hurt. Theo, that was personal.
It really did feel
I would have taken him if he had made it. But I'll tell you, I'm on the board now, and I certainly don't mind MVS because there's a decent chance his profile changes some in Kansas City, and he's got that nice Week 17 correlation with Russell Wilson. If I do get that far, anyway, there's a few guys on the board I liked right there. One of them makes it back.
Guys, we're an hour in and we haven't given a quick word to our partners, our friends over at the FFPC. We're rocking their drafts all day long. Everyone on this stream right now is retired, living off of their FFPC winnings. Just kidding. Just some of us are. Not us. Some people might be. But in all seriousness, guys, the best site to play on. You see us on here on the regular. Tonight is no different. This is where all the savages come to play, where all the money is won. This tournament, guys, what is it? Up to $1 million? The MiLLY BiLLiE, Andrew? Is that why? Is that?
I think main events up to $1 million. Which, by the way, early bird deadline is tonight at midnight Pacific, midnight Eastern. Don't know, some kind of midnight around here.
Second place is 35 cents, right?
Say it again. Say it again.
Yes.
No, Todd got muted there. Sorry, no, I'm joking.
Yeah, 35 cents and a couple free entries. No,
couple $35.
No, this
and
is
a couple of drink tickets at the live draft.
at the live draft.
No, I heard those are the most expensive currency.
No, they did boost in the FPC. They did boost up the lower prizes after first place this year. So
I'm teasing.
Yep.
I love the FFPC.
Oh, I know, but I figured I'd at least say it because they did boost those up this year. So we got to give them credit where credit's due.
So, I also agree with Noah. I was listening to you guys before about Alan Lazard. Where I took Jameson Williams, I figured I'd get Lazard there or Williams. So he was right there. But that Lazard pick was a nice one. And Abib's kind of made up for wide receiver depth. I thought the Renfro pick was very good.
He's really nice value in drafts right now.
When you mentioned Singletary a minute ago, do you mean you don't like Singletary?
Me, myself,
in relation to Knox.
No, we like Singletary.
Okay.
No, I like Singletary.
Yeah, I mean, at 11th round, him and Penny, I mean, in best ball, 11th, 12th, round, to me, that's almost stealing. Who was it? Noah made the comment about Robert Woods over Treylon Burks year one. I mean, Rashad Penny was dominant down the stretch. Singletary was pretty dominant down the stretch. Yeah, there's risk because they brought in rookies. But I'm old enough to remember when Penny went to Seattle and everyone anointed him year one and he busted. So I think Walker's a much more polished running back coming out. I don't expect what happened to Penny to happen to Walker, but I mean, Penny was, he was dominant. So to get guys like that 7th, 8th round or in a 12th, 13th in a best ball, I'm very happy when that happens.
Yeah, a lot of times people tend to underestimate the chances of an experienced running back being able to hold off a rookie for a pretty significant portion of a season, if not the whole season.
What do you guys think of Daryl Williams? I mean, he just went, and I feel like he's kind of a depth guy. I don't get the whole he's going to be the Chase Edmonds. He was sitting out on the market a long time. Am I completely wrong here?
I think we should add.
Bring me in, coach. Bring me in.
Talk it up, Mark.
Mark's back in. Oh, never mind.
Talk it up, Mark.
Yeah, let's go.
The Daryl Williams pick. There you go.
He's probably a top 2, if not 3, maybe the top overall running back cuff for me this year. And that just happened 10 days ago. But if you look at Connor's injury history, if you look at how Arizona has utilized backs out of that backfield, if Connor goes down, Connor misses any weeks, Daryl Williams is going to be an 18 to 22 touch weekly guy. So that's just same thing with Madison. You see me loading up these, the top running back cuffs because my running back stable is pretty shallow. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that I might have been able to wait till the 12th, but it's at this point, it's like upside, upside, upside.
And the first and 15th guys are on him too, so maybe he doesn't go by.
I had a tough decision. Normally, I'll take in best ball, I'll take Ramondre ahead of Spiller, but in a league like this, you kind of, I passed on Eckler in the first round, so I like kind of taking a bet to double down on that.
Todd, you're breaking the rules. You're breaking the rules. Todd. You're
so
talking about a guy who was
if
not
my
drafted.
decision to pass on Eckler works,
Oh gosh, Dan just the knife to the back on that one. I had him.
Oh,
no!
That's just.
Dan.
This is.
That'll teach you about that Jameson Williams pick there, Theo.
Oh my gosh! Oh my! I knew.
There's my favorite pick of the night. Congrats to who is this? Hold on,
That's Ron.
oh, Hunter Henry. Yeah, that's.
Oh, congrats,
Andrew
Ron
loves it.
Packer. You won pick of the night. Hunter piece of shit Henry.
I'll cheer myself up.
An Andrew Stone pick to use.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I took Hunter Henry in like the 18th round of a dynasty startup, and Andrew sent me a disgusted face like emoji, and I'm like, what are we doing here, Andrew?
I've lost my mind since then, Theo. Haven't found it yet.
I'm gonna let Noah make a couple picks. We'll bring him back in. If Austin's around, we'd love to get you back on. Anything stand out, guys?
Theo,
right
I love
now?
your Jameson Rondale. I don't mean to rub it in for Dan, but I love those two picks. That was great.
Yeah, those were. I felt good about that, and like Rondale, I have hit the correlation with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see some usage to start the year. I think we'll know really quickly what Arizona thinks of Rondale Moore. Hopefully we get some flashes in the preseason, but it's kind of easy to think like maybe he's a guy that has a great week 1 and week 2, and people are like, why didn't we draft him a little bit earlier? We were on him as a rookie, so I'm willing to take some shots in like the 10th round.
Some jump ball training camp videos. That's what we need, Theo.
Just give me something. Just give me something with Rondale. I mean, we want it to happen, but
spark a light, please.
It's a little bit of like hopeful drafting, but the fact that you have the correlation with Kyler, it's like,
you got with Kyler.
Why
too.
not?
I like it.
Dan, Khalil Herbert, my most owned running back on FFPC. Not trying to jinx anyone, but I do love what he showed us last year. Montgomery, again in that offense, going to get a lot of volume, but it is the running back position. Love Herbert. What's that? 2, 4, 6.
Any truth to the rumor that Theo took Herbert just because I took TDP?
That's literally why I took Herbert. That's literally why
I want to know. Did you already have
but
that
I do.
lined up just in case, or you just like
Herbert
reaction?
was in my queue. I think that he's a great 10th and 11th round value. But yeah, we're each snaking each other's cuffs. So there you go, Dan.
Nothing like the vengeance pick, eh, guys? The vengeance.
So good,
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Theo and I have this. We're out of the regular draft. We're just trying to kill each other at this point. So.
and I want a little bit, if I can, little justice for Andrew for my dumbass statement that I was very worried that Khalil Herbert would get snaked in the NFL draft. He was my answer to the Theo's question when I wasn't paying attention of who am I worried they're going to lose their job overnight. And I said, Khalil Herbert and a couple other running backs not to be named because they're not on the board yet. They got roasted for it. You know what? Who didn't get snaked in the real NFL draft? Khalil Herbert. So you know what? I love that pick there in the 11th round, Theo.
Apparently you have not heard of Tristan Ebner, Andrew.
Baylor guy.
Yeah. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah.
And former
2 people have heard of him.
Go district guest Mario Puig likes him as well, Dan. So
exactly.
All right, so this is an easy pick for me. I think I'm back on Ramondre at this range in the draft. I think if you start looking at that, I was actually looking at it today, trying to figure out how this Patriots offense is going to be. And I think a lot of people are scared off of Ramondre Stevenson now, but I think I'm going to have exposure to him. I'm happy to get Herbert and him here. I would have rather have the Tyrion Davis-Price, but I'm happy to get those 2 guys for my running back depth.
I like the back-to-back. I bring in Noah back. He's sprinkling some of that Dallas Cowboy flavor into his roster with Prescott, and then comes back with what feels like a free square in the tight end zone with Noah Fant. You hope he's getting that volume out there in Seattle. How do you feel about your two latest picks, Noah?
Well, like I have a lot of Noah Fant in Dynasty because I think he's a very good player. But I was not happy when, at first I was like, Russell Wilson got traded to Denver. This is awesome for Noah Fant. And I was like, oh, and Noah Fant went back to Seattle. So he's still stuck with Drew Lock. That's great. So yeah, he remains in purgatory, but he's a really good tight end talent. And to get him as late as we are in the draft right now in the 12th round, I'm fine with that. I also like what Dave Hubbard did, taking Derek Carr. It may seem like it's a little early for Derek Carr, but Hubbard took Derek Carr's targets in the 1st and 3rd round. So if he's really trying to build for his own upside, it makes a lot of sense for him to take Carr there because he's got Waller and he's got Devontae. So that's probably a pretty unique pairing to have that stack. It's very unlikely to get all three of those players together. So I kind of like what he did there at the turn.
Last year, Dave had a Cincinnati stack in this same draft that he put together, and I think this is great. I completely agree with you, Noah. It's he was setting it up, and it's kind of like you see it come into fruition, and that could be very, very good for him.
Yeah. And then as far as taking Dak Prescott for me, I just think 11-11 is probably it's just an ADP thing there. Dak Prescott should be going earlier than that, even in this format. So I was fine taking him there. I don't really have a stack to go with him, but I think just taking him alone makes sense there with a little bit of rushing upside.
He's kind of one of those quarterbacks that you can take alone without a stack and still feel comfortable about it because he's going to probably spread it around. You want Lamb if you can, but if you miss him, you're still fine taking Prescott in the 11th.
Yeah, I think their offensive line is going to be better and their defense is going to be worse. So that's a little bit of a recipe for some positive regression for good old Dak Prescott.
Stats and Information Intern has an update courtesy of Fantasy Mojo. Subscribe. Cheap, great. You'll love it. He has a Stack Explorer via Tableau here. Anyways, it's great. 74 drafts have gone off through 528. There are 2 teams that have the Waller, Adams, Derek Carr pairing. So don't know if there's been any more since 528, but if not, this will be the 3rd pairing or the trio of these. So pretty unique.
But I think most of those probably took Waller in the 2nd round, though, right? Can you tell that?
Yeah.
Mojo, help! Can I see it? I don't know. Yeah, let's assume yes. I can at least tell you. I think it looks like their team would have been drafting out of the 8th spot there, which is probably helpful to confirm that, Noah.
Yeah.
Mark, big thought. Love the Tanyan pick there. Love Robert Tanyan right now as a
no, and not non-fantasy football because that's basically what I'm here for. Are you you're in the Dallas area? Yeah.
Yes, I'm in the area.
Nice. Any good food recommendations, beer recommendations, other stuff around you? Give 1, 2, and if you're feeling squirrely, 3. And if you need to think about it,
Andrew's got an expense account, so don't hold back. You're good.
Okay. Well, I like to make all of my own food, and I don't drink much. But I mean, if you're just
Noah, you sound like my wife right now.
All right, what do your friends say?
I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a good German experience,
a steakhouse, a barbecue, and a wild card. Give me a wild card.
And a happy ending.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. I didn't mean to give you too much thinking about food in Dallas and then the fantasy football.
Yeah, I don't really go out at all, honestly. All right. I cook all my own food. I smoke my own meats. Like I do my own barbecue.
Did you do anything over Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, I did. I made a bunch of spare ribs. It was a good time.
Love it.
Wheeler's asking about the La Quinta out there in Dallas.
You didn't see the cheesecake, the fancy ass cheesecake that I got from the La Quinta Club Lounge. It's great.
I
The answer.
did not.
No,
awesome.
you didn't ask. No, Wheeler did. I wasn't putting you on the spot for that one. Wheeler was asking.
You are up next.
Well, if you're in the Dallas area, I can make you anything that you want, food wise.
Nice.
So
I'm gonna come by.
All right, sounds good.
Stay-
I live right by the Star
Dan,
in Frisco.
Dan, I'm going to try
Where
to
the
take us
Cowboys
back
play.
onto the rails. Evan
Yeah,
Ingram.
please. My God.
Evan-
Somebody save me.
Evan Ingram plays, is on I know one of your favorite targets at the tight end position to tag up with your other favorite, Mr. Komet, and then talk to us about Hassan Haskins as well.
Yeah, so Haskins is
Now, you are
he's
on
just
the
a play on Derrick Henry. Being around that age where we sometimes see the breakdown, and also having a lot of carries. There was some of his efficiency stats last year hinted that he might be starting to break down. So I'm just kind of trying to grab some some running backs here that are one injury away type running backs because my running backs, Connor, Montgomery, and Dylan, their buys are round 13, round 14, or week 13, week 14, week 14. So I'm going to need some running backs to step up by then. So I'm trying to grab guys I think might have a decent chance of doing so. But we'll see what happens. I mean, there's also a great chance that TDP and Haskins could both be long gone from my squad by the time week 13 or 14 roll around. So we'll see what happens.
I brought in Scoundrel back. We're into the double digits. Sorry, Andrew.
And also, if I may, Hard 8 Barbecue in Dallas is pretty good.
Nice.
So,
there we go.
There it is. There it is.
They have like probably 4 or 5 locations around the DFW Metroplex.
Prefer no chains, but local chains I can handle, Dan.
There you go.
Guys, if you're in the chat, you're watching right now, we appreciate any smashing of the like button. Subscribe. We're here all off season, all season long, 365. We bring the goatness all year long to help you guys win your fantasy football. Scoundrel, how you feeling about it? What are you doing in these later rounds? Double digits. Usually, what are you looking for? Stacks? You looking to fill positions? What's your strategy in these later double-digit teen rounds?
Last couple of rounds, I'm really reaching, but wide receivers went so fast in this one. I should have known by now. But, a lot of guys that I was targeting went round 2 earlier than usual. So I'm having to reach for guys that I'm sitting there looking at what's left in the queue, and it's just, nope, don't need another quarterback. Nope, don't need another. It's all right. So I'm going to reach for Crowder a round and a half early. Why not? So I'm pretty happy with my running backs, but reaching for and I like Olave a lot. Doubled them up with Landry. One of them's going to emerge as the number 1 guy. So I don't know who Winston's going to latch on to, but I took Landry, pair him with Olave, and figure out who that's going to be. And Crowder I really like. It took him a little early, but Crowder's a big favorite of mine this year. I've always been a Crowder stan. But I think he's as good, if not better, than Beasley, and he's walking into a hell of a situation. So, wide receivers getting tough here. It's getting to be slim pickings now. So,
Andrew, I know when I first signed up for that RotoViz Triflex, I know you start way more receivers, and it's a different dynamic when you're looking at the roster builds in the starting lineup. However, I feel like that's kind of the trend on the FFPC, or is that anywhere? Is that just across the board right now, where you think you're good at receiver, and then next thing you know, the cliff just drops, and you're like, "Holy shit, Jarvis Landry, Jamison Crowder." Not to point out Scoundrel's picks, but just to give an example.
No, I think it happens quick, and I will use somebody on the opposite side of the board of Scoundrel to make a better point of. If I look at, and hopefully I'm not giving everyone a seizure with the scrolling, but Hubbard, team 12, right? I love what he did. He got 1, 2, 5 running backs wide receivers in the first 7 rounds. I think what's so interesting is, obviously he's a Pollard guy, but I probably would have continued because these are really good running back names that you like, and you probably like 4 of these guys, or maybe Pollard and 3 of them. But if I'm looking at some of these names now, again, that we're down to the Jacoby Myers and the Robbie Anderson, KJ Osborne, like I just don't want to be taking wide receivers in this range like at all. Like I think that there's great fun dart throws that I think Dan was alluding to. Hey, if they're off your roster by week 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, like right away, and you might as well be dumping them. So I really think that for me, it's just hey, I'd rather load up at the beginning, or and I don't have to be a freak about the 0 RB thing, but that cliff falls off so fast where you're just getting the guys who you feel like are pretty replaceable on that waiver wire, and I just don't want to be spending the fab money on guys like that, super replaceable.
That's kind of why I asked the question. All right, we've got a goat in the house. We got to bring him in. He's the man, the legend, the Abib. What's up, brother?
Welcome back, man, fellas. Oh,
hey, Dave, what's going on?
Number one, Dan, I hate you.
Hold on, you hate him for which picks, plural?
Oh man, yeah, which picks? The Russell Gage pick hurt. There were a number of wide receivers that I was hoping were going to make it back to me after I had accidentally chosen Hunter Renfrow. But
this was an accident.
Say what? Yeah, he was. Well, he was in the queue, and I thought I was clicking on Miles Sanders, and actually clicked on Hunter. I think probably in the end, I probably is needed. It's kind of within Hunter Renfrow's realm of possibilities of producing as a wide receiver too. So it ended up probably is what my team needed. But I thought either Sky Moore was going to make it back to me. I was fairly confident Kadarius was going to make it back to me. And then, they all just sort of kind of went off the board. But tough draft. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. I think, no one is giving up anything easy, which is why you saw me take Ertz in the 8th and Kittle in the 4th and Josh Allen in the 5th. I think, first share of Kittle, first share of Josh Allen. But I didn't want to let those guys slide and let someone else reap the benefits. So, playing a little bit of defense here as well.
Yeah. It just to tell you how hard it is to get in this league, I think Abib, what you won and you still didn't get the invite to it. It took a second win for you to invite to the league, right?
Tough. Yeah.
So this is what year 2 for you, year 3 for you, year 2.
Yeah, year two
Year
actually.
2. Okay,
yeah.
very nice.
And I can't even tell you who won last year because I was so pissed that I didn't win. So
luckily he's not on right now, but I think he's a member of the GOAT district. So
Abib, I keep taking this hosting type gig just so I can maybe get an invite one year. So Theo jokes that he didn't even know you were coming on, but just real quick, guys, 1st and 15th, go check it out. Latest episode is out recently. Yes. So good. I just feel like you guys, I hope like our listeners feel the same way. I feel like you guys just talk about shit I want to listen to it, talk about myself. You know what I mean? I love it, man. It's a good job.
Yeah. That's a credit to Deo, because it's like, we all kind of listen to everyone, GOAT, and we listen to McFarland, The Hustle. I mean, just anyone we can kind of get our hands on. But so we didn't want to kind of like repeat what was out there.
On the clock.
Let me take a pic right here. Cover your noses. So we just we didn't want to kind of talk about what everyone else was kind of covering already. You guys do it so well, so we just wanted to add something a little bit different. And Deo does a great job of just kind of coming up with topic ideas, because we'll kind of say, oh, let's talk about this division or let's talk about these rankings. He's like, no. He's like, let's talk about something that we can kind of add to the fantasy community. So large and large is really just a kind of a discussion, but I'm glad that it's bringing some enjoyment to those who listen.
Yeah, huge.
Big fans.
So who's winning this draft? Who's winning this draft so far?
Well, I was going to ask you, A, if you have an opinion on that, but B, I know you talk about how you're kind of already addicted. You're already jumping in a bunch of these. How does this draft differentiate from the ones you've done so far?
So, and this was the tough thing, because right off the bat, I knew going into this draft, I did not want to draft a quarterback within the first 8 rounds. I wanted to fill out all of my flex spots, all of my startable, my positional spots. But Josh Allen in the 5th, I don't think I had a share of Josh Allen last year because of how early he was going. So I was like, let me just get, I can knock off one QB, not have to worry about, picking up a second QB, and ideally have the highest, scoring, QB within the league. So that'll hopefully help cover some ground there. And then I also had Kittle. I think going tight end and quarterback that early really, really hurts. Even in a tight end premium, you really are just kind of fighting from behind. So you're seeing with some of these picks, I'm just, I'm trying to find that wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 guys who have a potential. But it's different, from because in other drafts, I think I would have been able to get away with it because guys like Kadarius, guys like Russell Gage, I would have been able to snag up in the 8th and 9th round. Yeah. So this league, I think, as you guys can probably attest to it, really kind of resets the ADP. I feel like this is where where likely a majority of these guys should be going. You'll see a few guys fall here and there, but I think this is probably going to be closer to what ADP looks like as we get closer to the season. A few months.
Yeah. And that's it. You have less wiggle room, right? Yeah. If you make that wrong turn, you got less options with this drafting.
Yeah. And I say it almost like taking the quarterback and the tight end to me frees me up to be able to just go after the running back and wide receiver. But you kind of had the opposite reaction here, Beeb. You kind of felt like you were, I don't think you used the word scrambling, but I think whatever you use, like, searching, you were trying to get the running back wide receiver to fill out. You didn't feel kind of like free and let the board open to you after you went Kittle, Allen. You felt a little bit more of a squeeze than normal. Is that just because of the draft room you were saying, or is that just in general?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's more so the draft room than anything else. Because I think, if you're in, for the most part, pretty much all the other drafts I've been in, I think I would have been able to, take these chances. I call them risk. If I draft someone like a Kelsey or a Mark Andrews, I don't worry so much about it. I like Kittle. I like the idea of him producing, but there's a lot of question marks there. So it's not a position where I can just feel like, okay, this is a lock. I don't have to worry about it. He's going to produce high. It's a position where I should be able to win over the majority of the field. I think that's the case, but I'm just not as certain. So at least with Josh Allen, I feel like I
feel pretty good about that.
There. Yeah. Let's see, we're gonna go here.
We'll let you pick. We got Hub in the house. How you feeling about your draft, man? So far, we've been complimenting the roster so far.
What's up, boys? It's going all right. 12 holes. You got to take some chances in the 12 hole of these drafts, and especially in a tough room like this. But pretty pleased with how it turned out.
Yeah, you got several guys I was hoping were going to make it back around the short turn to me, and it's been rough watching you draft over there, Hub.
We've done a ton of these drafts where I have BiLLiE. BiLLiE's going to join the show in a minute too. I think he's doing. The reason I couldn't join now because we were doing the same thing with his stream over on the other one. And the Juju, I own 0 Juju, but I've done like 50 drafts. I've never seen Juju there. I swore I wasn't going to own Juju, so we own one share. I own one share of Juju this year, but he's not a guy that I went in looking to draft. It just went that way.
So Dan, we have a full green room. I'm going to bring in BiLLiE.
Yep.
And we're going to bring you back in a couple of minutes, brother. Mr. Muzio.
What up, boys? How are you?
Hey, BiLLiE. What's going on?
You are among goats, as you could see on the screen. You got a Beeb in the house. Our boy Hub.
Oh, you got to drop the sound emoji. Come on.
You're calling me out. I'm rusty, man. I've been off for a week and a half. A little rusty over here. There it is. For all the goats in the house. How you feeling about this draft? I know you draft a shit ton. You talk to these guys on the regular. How do you feel it? Is it as expected or any surprises so far?
No, I think it's gone as expected. Dave and I had contemplated what we were going to do on the 1-2 turn, because that 1-2 turn kind of sets up the rest of your draft from the 12 hole. And after the board fell the way it did, we decided to just start double wide receiver and then open up the board for us later in Panic Grain. And we're higher on ETN than a lot of folks are, and we pushed him up the board. The team was unique with Adams, Lamb, and Waller to start. It's the only team in the tournament so far with those three. ETN as well makes it unique on top of it, but the first 3 picks were unique. And then we got some good value. Juju was about almost 2 rounds later than ADP. James Cook was almost 2 rounds later than ADP. And we had contemplated even taking Mac, where we took Gainwell and eventually pushed Mac down because we both owned so much of Mac. So it worked out nicely. We've had some players fall to us. Noah's definitely took us on a couple. Saved us, I think, once, but has also took us on once or twice. And overall, the board has been falling pretty well for us.
All right, I'm changing the layout on the fly here. We're the district. We on the fly, man. Just like the draft, right? I mean, we're like water, right, Andrew?
Like
water,
Bruce Lee.
water.
Bruce Lee.
You're up next.
Yeah, production intern says we got to figure out the way to get the comments not covering up the bottom person's face.
I think I just did it. See, I'll throw one on right here. There you go.
Oh my goodness!
There it is.
Good
I
job,
just figured
production
out.
intern.
Now you just have to maneuver the draft board in the background. Figure it out.
All right, I'll figure that one out. Yeah, Billy, what wine are you drinking tonight? Anything?
I'm done with it, but it was Everett Ridge.
Nice.
I asked the questions that matter here on this stream.
Yes. Yeah, that was a wine we got at the store. It was $60 online, and we were selling it for $6.99 a bottle.
You're on the clock.
Nice.
So kickers are starting to come off the board, guys. We're in the 17th round of this thing out of 20 rounds. Abib, before we let you off, always a blast having you on, brother. Anything? Maybe a tip for anyone listening when they're doing these FPGs, coming from a back-to-back champ.
Just I think it's very, very important to have a good sense of who you're going to be drafting from basically rounds 10 through 20. You're going to have a good sense of what the players, in the first half of the draft. But then kind of when you get to this back half of the draft, if you're not really comfortable with these players, you're going to find yourself kind of scrambling. And towards the end, after you've done about 3 or 4 drafts, you're going to look back at those first couple and think, man, why did I draft that player? Or I'm really not high on them. So I think me doing, whether I'm right or wrong, I feel comfortable. Guys like Robbie Anderson and Corey Davis. Normally I'm drafting these guys in rounds 18 and 19, but in this type of league, I just didn't even want to, chance it. You see guys like Devin Duvernay already going off the board. So try, but me kind of having some comfort level with those guys, at least I don't feel as bad, when I get to these later rounds and have to click the button on some of these names. So I think it's important to kind of just know the entire player pool or the majority of it, so you can kind of win in these later halves.
Words of wisdom from is it Skywalker?
2000. Yeah.
2000. There you go, Billy. See, Billy's a professional. I just do this on the side, man. Just thanks for coming on, Abib. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a good night.
Good to see you, B.
Hey, Dave, we're in the batter's box. We're on deck now.
Yep.
We need another receiver, I think.
I like just taking just taking Dallas defense.
Okay.
And Brandon McManus or Harrison Butker, either kicker you want.
Okay, we could do that. I'm also
Hey Noah, you can't take either of those 2 players now. That's the rule.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it, but
okay.
You can take them if you want to. We'll adjust.
I'd also be fine pushing up James Washington too if you wanted to. I like the defense kicker combo though. Those are both solid.
Yeah.
My only problem with Butker is though they always go for it on 4th down.
Okay, take McManus then.
Okay. Let me just look at correlation real quick. So Kansas City and Denver. So Kansas City has Texans, Seahawks, Broncos, and Denver has Cardinals, Rams, Chiefs.
This is how the sausage gets made, folks.
This is exactly it.
We don't have a lot of correlation. Okay, we'll just take those 2. I think we'll just push we don't need a receiver as much.
No.
Okay, we'll push those 2.
I don't think I've ever seen Hubbard
backstage
actually
at the Oscars
in person.
Really? Hey,
yeah, I don't think we've actually ever talked. How you doing?
Hey Todd, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Nice
I can't even see you, but I know it's you by your voice. I listen to your pod.
Yeah, well,
my eyes are bad. Yeah.
As a streamer, I'm a pretty good voice.
But I immediately knew it was you by your voice. That's pretty
Hold
good.
up. Can I just ask for one squat from Noah real quick?
I was gonna comment on the workout.
Come on, Noah, do it. One squat, Noah. Let's
One
go.
second. I'm on the clock.
it.
Let me get a pick knocked out here.
Hey, be good.
All right.
Noah will crush it.
You have to
Yes!
move the chair too. You have to move the chair too. There we go.
About to see some Eckler action here. Some Barkley.
Dude, Noah's looking cut, man.
Oh, look at that. Oh, shit. Live on you. We should big screen this thing. Hold on.
There we go.
Look at this dude
There it is.
putting in some
Get
work.
ready.
This is how he drafts. This is how he chooses who he's going to pick.
Live from Dallas, from the bunker.
Each slot is a different player.
He's thinking about his next prop bet, his next over-under, as he stacks. the
Every
bars.
plate he adds is another player.
Look at this. This is how it's done, guys. First you heard the hub and the Muzio.
You notice he didn't hesitate 1 second to show off.
Todd, calling out. There, look at this, folks.
You don't get this every day.
See, I probably would have just died picking up that plate at this point. Like that plate
What does
alone,
he have?
just
He's got
putting it on the
245s.
bar, that would have been about it for me.
That's a pretty sweet set, actually. He's got 245s. I thought those were like attached on like a trail. That thing's pretty sweet. It's free weights. Nice.
Oh yeah. No.
Nice little cage action. I like it.
All right, here we go.
Oh, here it is. Here it is, guys. You don't get this anywhere. I'm telling you right now. Smash the likes all kinds right now.
Look. Oh, yeah.
Just guys being dudes. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, he's doing more than
Wow!
one.
Oh, man, you put in a regular workout.
We need to get Brock Lesnar to OG to we need like this show to devolve into basically Noah versus OG.
Hey.
Theo. We need this show really should have been nothing more than Theo and Noah flexing between picks.
This is no one right now.
That a boy, Noah.
That was great.
We'll lift on
Hey
command.
man, for my
That was
next
some podcast history.
for my next show, I'm going to practice getting out of my chair.
All right.
And I think that is an athletic feat to almost match Noah's at this point.
Yeah, I could have loaded more up, but I don't have any warm up done,
Next
and
time.
I don't
Next
have my belt on, so
I thought
just
about
figured I'd
taking
go
a
light.
second quarterback with Watson, and I didn't. And Austin, couple times, man. Austin's gotten some nice value in this draft.
I feel like we just got a TMZ exclusive right there. I don't know, Andrew, how you feeling about the squats?
No, that was great, but I like the statement that could have been more if I had only warmed up. So that's a we have to prep in advance type of thing. So
I don't think I met Shelly before either, and we co-managed teams for 2 years.
Yeah, we did one podcast last year together.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right,
It was
though.
the stream.
Theo's in the house joining us. I feel
Theo,
like
where's
he's,
your bar?
I feel like he's been stretching in the sidelines.
I mean, come on, buddy. You can't let Noah just dominate you like that.
No, my stuff is in the basement. I'm very impressed by Noah's
See,
setup.
that's the commitment, though. That's the commitment we need from you, though. We need you to bring that shit upstairs. Say, listen, wife. I do streams. I need to show off. We need to pay the bills.
Maybe we'll get some. I'll get a video and JD can tweet it tomorrow. But leg day is tomorrow. Today was today. I got a little bench in before the draft here.
Nice.
But,
Nice.
Next, let's make it deadlift day. Let's do some
day.
deadlifts. Let's do some like 505s.
That's it, man. That's it.
All right, guys. Sorry, go ahead,
I'm
Theo.
impressed by the. Is that a Buffalo bar back there, Noah? On your setup.
I don't know if it's called a Buffalo bar, but
It's an awesome.
JD, great production work.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice bar. I call it a yoke bar, so I don't know what other people call it, but it's a yoke bar.
I call it a bar.
It's got the shoulder pads. I use my other bar just for deadlifts and overhead stuff.
So basically what Noah's saying is, guys, when you're drafting, make sure you're exercising, you're moving, you're lifting.
Right.
Just the more you lift, the better you're going to draft.
You got to get the blood moving to the brain. Love it.
Yeah, you got to clear the mind.
So one question I think I asked maybe Todd last year, definitely BiLLiE, actually came from Hub and Nelson, but from 2020 2019, it was like what's your like, hey, I'm seeing someone else smarter than me draft some of these dart throws, especially as we come up with this 19th, 20th round. I remember being in the drafts with some of these guys. Many of them are on the stream of the Benjamins, the Lynn Bowdens, and now some of these don't work out, but some of them are the Elijah Mitchells, and they do hit. As we get into this 1920th, so that way you stop giving away some secrets. Who are some of these guys that you're eyeing of, hey, this is somebody who's really smart, and they just took a good flyer that I like, and I'm going to copy that on my next draft. So you can either comment on an upcoming pick that you're about to make here in the last rounds, or a pick that's already happened. I don't know if you guys have some favorites of the rookies or the second-year players that you're seeing here in this Endgame section.
Well, what?
Quick. Sorry, guys. We're on the clock real quick, and then we can answer that.
Yeah, please.
Dave, I misclicked last time. Apparently, clicked James Washington over Dallas, but
that's
so
fine.
we need a defense. New England's on the board still.
New England, Pittsburgh, or Baltimore. I'm fine with either one.
Okay, I lean New England, and then
pick them. And then the last pick, he just asked the question. We're going to take my favorite player that's rarely drafted, but we're going to draft him on every team I can. Ty Chandler.
I love it.
I like Chandler too.
There you go.
I love it. Well, I think I called it "Somebody Knows Something," or I don't know, whatever dumb segment I came up with it. But I just love watching these later round picks of who's doing what, and then of course everyone copies someone, and all of a sudden Ty Chandler is going to be a 15th round pick by August before you know it. So I don't know if you guys want to go around the room, or if no one wants to answer, that's fine too. If you want to just shout them out, who's your favorite endgame pick that you like from other people?
Why don't we do this, Andrew? Yeah. We've got some people waiting that we want to get by. Before we close this out. So we'll as we let people out. Noah, you've been super generous. I mean, you've done more on the screen than I've probably done all week. So we appreciate your time, your strength, and maybe quick words of wisdom for anyone drafting these tournaments, or answer Andrew on the way out.
Yeah, I think that one of the picks that I like that's as an example of what you just talked about was Theo taking Julio Jones. He's not on a team right now, but that could end up being a good pick for him. It's a nice swing for the fences. It's, if you end up having to drop him, I mean, he's your last pick of the draft. So it's an easy drop if he doesn't get signed by anybody. And, we're in week 3 and you've got to drop somebody. I mean, it just makes sense to take a guy like that you don't need him to do anything for you, but he could. So, I like taking shots on players like that where, maybe there is something left in the tank, or, like a guy like Ty Chandler, for example, a guy that hasn't shown anything yet, but has a lot of upside. I like those kinds of picks late in drafts. But I think with this type of setup, obviously this league is a little different because we're all going to be very competitive on the waiver wire, and you're not going to have anybody probably run away with this league. But with this format, just don't get in the way of your own upside. If you're making picks, if you're handcuffing yourself, for example, you're probably hurting your chances of winning the overall contest. So just make sure that you're building for your best possible outcome.
For me, I want to give credit to Nelson and Hub. When we started this whole thing, it was kind of really eye-opening to see this whole other world that existed, because I never wanted to put that much money into fantasy football, to be honest. And if you look at my board, a lot of it is what I learned from those guys. It's mixed in a little bit with, the whole win the flex, get the wide receivers. But, Nelson told me something last year that really stuck with me, which is, and I just took Donovan Peoples-Jones because I think it's better to take a guy you think who has a shot rather than a guy, just taking, like I was also looking at Justin Jackson. But the key thing that he said to me is, look, in these FBGs, you don't want more than 5 or 6 wide receivers. You don't want to, especially when you're drafting this early, you want to take those deep flyers and hope that it pays off at the running back position. So I want to shout out to those guys because I'm constantly trying to get better, and I've learned a ton from those guys and applied it, and that's one way that I've done it.
Love that. Yeah, that's on brand, Dan. I think with the narrow receiver position, right? With it's nice to hear some of the goats are rocking that style. Todd, love the words of wisdom and the shout out to the hub and some of the legends of the game. We appreciate your time tonight. You're always closest to my heart. First guy to ever let me on the air on a pod, and I'll always be grateful for that. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
No worries, guys. And, we'll see you out there, and hopefully I don't have to wear a dino dildo outfit at the end of the year.
At Best Ball NFL, thank you,
Coming your way, Todd.
Good job.
No, we appreciate you, brother. Thanks a lot. Next time we'll do the over/under on the weight you're lifting and the amount of squats. We'll set that before we go live. Appreciate you, man.
Depending on what you said, it'll affect what I left. So
it'll be blind. Thanks, brother. Mr. Hubbard.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you and Muzio giving a little backstage action, and always appreciate you guys hanging with us in the district. Any words of wisdom? I know you do a bunch of these and you're very successful in the high stakes games. I'm sure our listeners would love to hear a nugget.
Just if you get in these things, grind, man. A lot of people give up after 2 weeks. I've had teams that didn't start out well that caught fire, and a lot of people give up. So if you're going to put your money in and only do 1 or 2 teams, don't quit during the league. Keep grinding and take the time to listen to the GOAT District and the Deep End Fantasy and BiLLiE Muzio. There's a lot of resources out there that make you a lot better player than drafting 4 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks, and just burning your money against guys that are just frankly better than you because they spend more time at it. They do more research. They have the right resources. So if you get in a couple of these, keep grinding. That's how you get better. Even if you don't ultimately win the league, you might improve for the next year when you have a little more money invested. So keep grinding.
Appreciate that. BiLLiE, anything to add to your partner in crime, and remind the peeps where all your goodness is because you're always dropping all of it.
Yeah, just don't be afraid to be unique. Right? Go out and build something that is different from the rest of the crowd. Go out and build something that is different from ADP, whether that means you're pushing somebody up the board or you're taking value on another player. And you may not even like the player, like Juju, for instance. Dave and I are both fading Juju, but where we got him, it's a value. And you want to make sure that you're building unique teams. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to kind of fade ADP and be unique. So, yeah, and you can find me. I'm on Full-Time Fantasy as well. So thank you, boys, for having us, and appreciate the time to be able to come on.
Thanks a lot, guys. Good talking with y'all.
Good draft, BiLLiE. Good draft, Dave.
Hey, good reminder. We need the unique is sometimes a euphemism for shitty T-shirts too. T-shirt intern doesn't forget. But I do agree with BiLLiE's sentiments. It's just obviously a great T-shirt idea. That's a $1 million T-shirt idea.
Scoundrel, you've been generous with us this entire draft from the one spot, just creating a nice art piece there with that roster. Any last comments or tidbits for the listeners?
No, it was this is about how I expected it to go. Didn't learn my lesson from the last couple of years of grabbing the wide receivers early enough, but it's always a blast drafting with these guys. And yeah, just like everybody else says, there's so many resources out there, and I love this podcast myself. So let's do it quite often while I'm hiking.
Nice.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan's flow will definitely make you flow and make you go.
Thanks for having me on, and good luck, gentlemen.
Appreciate
good luck to you too.
Good draft, Scoundrel.
Yeah, that like what a star-studded lineup tonight in the draft. Theo, great job lining all this up. The guys coming in. We actually looked like we were semi-professional with the flow of it. I hope so anyways. And hopefully the peeps got, out there in fantasy land, got some good tips. The tournament, a roster build. Any comments? I'll go to you, Dan, first, and then we'll go around. I like to leave Theo last because he reminds me who's coming up next. I haven't checked the schedule recently, but Dan, this was a ton of fun. I know you love drafting with these guys. What are your thoughts on it as we close it out?
Yeah, absolutely. Tough draft for sure. I had to kind of scrape together a different strategy than what I was hoping to start with, but I don't know. I may be too heavy on rookies. I may be too heavy on tight ends, but I feel like I'm probably going to be throwing a tight end in my flex fairly frequently, and I just need one of those rookie running backs to come through. If I can get one of those guys to come through, I could be sitting all right. But yeah, it's a tough competition, and usually this draft, Noah kind of alluded to it, but there's not a lot of separation. Usually there's one or two people who are kind of clearly ahead of the pack at the front, and then maybe one or two people who are clearly behind, but often there isn't. I mean, there's usually like an 8 to 10 man scrum in the middle to end of the draft of, it's just like you could be in third place, and at the end of the week you could be in 11th place just that quickly. And that's either by total points or by record. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
Andrew, this has been a good time, man. I feel like I can't tell now if that's like you have one of those backgrounds that just shows up anywhere, or that's actually the La Quinta. Like I have but it seems like an upgrade from the last one. I don't know.
No, that's the design here. I got like a half corner room this week. So
your lighting is very professional. I got.
I never have professional lighting, so I'm really happy this worked out this time.
I had to point it out. How do you think about the draft? What do we need to do to get into it next year? And any closing words?
No, I've got 2025 circled on my calendar for me. I think that you didn't be before me.
We're trying to slowly add people in, but Theo and I don't have any more pull than anybody else. That's the problem. So it's kind of like, we'll try.
No,
Dwayne McFarland took the opening this year, so it was.
Yeah, you got to give it to Dwayne, man.
Yeah, got to give it to Dwayne. And I'll be interested in talking to Dwayne and seeing what he thought about his build. But I mean, it was awesome. It's like the start of the summer. This draft, it just from here on out, it's just nonstop. I'll have teams with Dan, teams with Andrew, JD, and I will no doubt draft a team together. And it's just nonstop from this point forward. I mean, June 1 is like the official start to it. I mean, we've all been drafting best balls since the end of the Super Bowl, essentially. But now you see, more and more drafters coming in. It's exciting, and I think it's like a learning lesson doing this draft, because guys you were expecting to fall to you. Get people, you see which guys are reaching, some guys who you might have thought would go in a certain range, you see them falling, like we talked about with Derrick Henry. When very sharp people are fading somebody, you might want to pay attention. I think that would kind of be the takeaway from this draft. So some of the guys that are the real fallers will be my takeaway, looking at this board. And then looking at some of the guys like, the bread and butter guys, the mid-round guys, the round 7 through 12, kind of seeing who's targeting them and where they went. Abi brought up Russell Gage. Dan has brought up Russell Gage on the GOAT District. Guys like Russell Gage that we know are going to give us those early season points, seeing where they're slotting in, the Rashad Pennies, the Devin Singletaries. That's always interesting to me. When we start talking about structural builds and, the way we're building our teams, going back and looking at, this is where I need to take a guy like that, if I go this way. So, yeah, this was awesome. This was a blast. I feel mentally drained, but it was mentally drained in a good way.
Yeah, we got a couple studs lined up. I know Nelson Souza's, I believe, on the schedule, Theo. Hopefully I'm not throwing names out that haven't been confirmed. Jared
No, we have
back.
And Ian Hartitz at some point will be on. We'll have Tommy Libretti from the NFFC, who was the Silver Bullet and NFFC Classic winner, as one. We're going to work out a date. We have a number of our high stakes guys that people enjoyed listening to, starting to get slotted in. So I mean, we're gonna have awesome guests all spring. I think we absolutely crushed it. Now that summer's here, I think we're gonna have some fantastic guests as well. So GOAT District is in full swing. Our drafts are in full swing. Startups are in full swing. Scheduling drafts in full swing. It's just nonstop from this point, guys, and it's awesome.
For sure. And as the weather gets hotter, the guests will keep getting hotter and the topics will keep getting hotter. If we're not hitting anything you want to hear about, let us know about it. You can check us out right now on video on YouTube or on Spotify and on your favorite platform. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And guys, get drafting, get trading, get stacking, and we'll check you all